Serious look at unidentified anomalous phenomena, which we all used to call UFOs. So when Chris Mellon talks about UAPs, which is the replacement for UFOs, unidentified anomalous phenomena.
And that's when there was a real serious uptick in UFO, as they called it then, or UAP sightings, as we say today. And this object was flying in formation with 7 of those smaller round objects that I spoke about. So this thing was flying, nobody knew what it was. There was a V-shaped formation of these spherical balls flying in formation behind it. When the Navy jets showed up, those all dispersed and went away, and they sent this little snippet back to the Pentagon to say, what the hell is going on? This is the kind of stuff we're seeing out here.
Chris Mellon at Vail Symposium. UFOs are real. Ex-Pentagon official Christopher Mellon breaks down the evidence of UAPs. You don't get to see a lot of Christopher Mellon. He's considered like super important pillar of ufology in modern pantheon. Him and Elizondo are kind of attached at the hip at the very start of everything in 2017 with the release of the 3 videos. One of them he features in his presentation. Probably familiar with the gimbal video.
Trying to get the attention of people.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro. There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude. That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's look at that thing. It's rotating.
They make sure to tell you over and over again that you're supposed to be calling UFOs UAPs. He gives kind of a basic ufology, modern ufology presentation here. There's sightings by military and private contractors around the world and at nuclear facilities and around nuclear assets like aircraft carriers and submarines. He doesn't spend a lot of time on gimbal. He does take a second, I think towards the end, to talk some shit about Mick West. And it's not really even full on shit talking because, you see the way that he talks, he doesn't really like shit talk. But he does do some some shade or some side eye. Because he says, Mick West tries to debunk this and keeps on coming up with different explanations and none of them work and he keeps on trying. And he's no good at it. He doesn't know everything. Plus, he hasn't seen the whole video like I have. This is just a little snip. Kind of leaves it at that. So it's just, it's kind of like side eye. So he goes over a good amount of stuff. He's got slides, The 5 observables. The gimbal. Nimitz incident triangles, drone swarms, This is, I think, it says it's like a month old. Or is it a year old? A month. So, it's after the New Jersey swarm, after the election. The main reason that we should pay attention to Chris Mellon is because he is involved with everyone and everything that's kind of like ufology and ufology related. So, everyone who is anyone, calls and talks to him, and he'll mention people. People mention him. You don't see him on people's things, podcasts, etc. very much. But occasionally. And people, they criticize him and they point out that he's a billionaire and he used to be in the Department of Defense. Which I think is a good criticism, the Department of Defense one. Especially when it comes with this really nice presentation that's about ufology. This is a good, first day ufology kind of presentation right here. So his credentials, they talk about why he's so awesome. Then they get into modern UFOs. At some point he asks them why they do the switch from UFO to UAPs, and he says, yeah, because there was baggage, science fiction baggage, etc. And I think someone asked him if the aliens are like, good, benevolent, and he's like, I don't know. They haven't done anything bad, but they don't seem to be like good. So no one asked him about like abductions or anything. I don't think they talk about abductions or crop circles or cow mutilations, but they kind of talk about everything else. And the reason, like I said, that he was so important, so probably pay attention to him, especially if it's something that's pretty new, is because he's involved in everything, and that includes gatekeeper organizations that are being set up by lots of different groups of former government insiders, like the Soul Foundation. And those are basically like groups, working groups, not really working groups, but like working groups, but private groups of former government insiders that are kind of organizing themselves in ways to get government grants to study or to think about, be think tanks, study UFOs, UAPs, aliens, UFOs. So he's involved in all those things, especially the Soul Foundation. He's technically a Corbell Camp guy, even though everyone kind of talks to him. The videos and Mellon and Elizondo are technically part of the Corbell Camp. So we'll be hearing a lot about him at a minimum, but we'll probably be hearing from him if he's going to be working on the, I don't know. He's either working on the Secrets Committee with Luna, or he's working for Burleson with Grush, or both of those things, or something like that. Just recently, there's pictures going around of this guy and Elizondo. I don't think Grush was actually in the picture. He wasn't. And then Luna and Burleson, the other Burleson. So whatever they're setting up there in Congress, this guy's going to be part of it, which was kind of their plan, That's why they got the Soul Foundation and etc. set up. So it's kind of happening. Whether that's disclosure, controlled disclosure, or it's all a big fucking psyop, or complete update of the cover up, or all of those things even.